Hello everyone. I am Emmanuel Kama, and I'll be hosting this workshop on domestic violence against children. It has come to notice of public health workers that most children in Sierra Leone, to be specific, Freetown, which is the capital city, have the highest rates of child violence. And I would like to train health professionals and educators on how to help these children and who are going through various forms of violence. So this workshop will talk about some keywords as we go. In the next slides, I'm going to talk about the vision of this workshop and what I would like to achieve. I would like to achieve for the protection, the rehabilitation, the family reunification, and the reintegration into society of children, victims of the most serious violation of their rights in Sierra Leone. So there are keywords there I would like to talk on in this workshop. The first is protection, second is rehabilitation, the third is family reunification and reintegration of children into their families. These are part of my vision statement in order to help children um, realize their potential and grow as needed, because it is the right for every child to gain consciousness of its potential to make the community and society become good. The situation here in the target population, which is Freetown, the capital city of Sierra Leone, a huge number of Sierra Leonean children are facing physical violence, sexual violence, emotional violence, and being neglected by the ones they love most. All these things are not in line with the goal of the International Cooperation for Development. The International Cooperation for Development needs or wants the best for children out there globally. And then, so this is the situation children in Sierra Leone are facing. And the Human Index, the last time we checked, of children going through both physical violence, sexual violence, and emotional violence is alarming. About 31% of these children are facing such violence, and we are calling on government agencies, NGOs to join us in this fight against children violence. Okay, so in this workshop we'll talk on the keywords, as I earlier said. There are keywords we'll talk on protection, we'll talk on violation, we'll talk on reunification, and also we'll talk on neglected children and integration. Okay, the next slide here we'll talk about neglected children, which is I'll start with neglected children, which is I'll define what it means, or children how they are neglected in communities, and also what it means to be neglected. So child neglect is a form of child abuse. So it is the responsibility of every caregiver or every parent to take responsibility of their children. So when a child is being neglected, is a child abuse and is deceitful in meeting child basic needs, including failure to provide adequate supervision, healthcare, clothing, housing, as well as physical, emotional, social, educational, and safety needs. So you see that if a child doesn't feel all these things around, or doesn't have the basic needs, including those things I've said, adequate provision, supervision by parents or caretakers, health care, they do not have sufficient health care, poor clothing facilities. So if a child doesn't have all these amenities, this child is being neglected, because you maybe some other children are having them as necessity, but they are not having it. So if a child is going through these things, then we are saying that child is being neglected, and probably it will bring them stigmatization. It will not help the community to become what the global index is looking at a child. Okay. Secondly, we'll talk about the reintegration of children. First, let's define what it means about the integration of children. So, children born of wartime, because Sierra Leone have faced those times when most children are born during the season of the war, and most of them were raped, their mothers were raped, often stigmatized by their own communities, because sometimes when these children feel that they were born in those times, and they remember when their mothers, they saw their mothers being raped, it 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 make them become stigmatized, and they feel they are not part of the community. They feel other children are better than them. So reintegration means now, they say, due to this association with political, ethnic, or religious enemies, these things also can also affect a child. Their identity and sense of belonging are contested, which creates danger for them. So, meaning children are facing all these things. Reintegration, reintegrating children out of a residential care setting back into communities and family can be a challenging process that requires strong buy-in from multiple stakeholders. So, reintegration is to bring back those children who have lost from those things that they are not having, maybe because of they are raped or stigmatized of one or two things. So bringing them back, because sometimes they are lost, but bringing them back will help them. So reintegration of children means a lot, and then we need to bring them to the sense of belonging and make them better people. The next step is protection, which is the right for every child. All children having the right to be protected from violence, exploitation, and abuse. Yet, millions of children in Sierra Leone from all socioeconomic backgrounds across all ages, religion, and culture suffer violence, exploitation, and abuse every day. Millions are more at risk. Indeed, so many children, based on their cultures, their background, they are facing um different challenges, and they are not protected. So this workshop is to train people how to help those vulnerable children in the streets. Some girls and boys are particularly vulnerable because of their gender, their race, their ethnic groups, and so on. Sometimes tribal line can affect a child. Okay. The last I will talk about is a violation. Okay, violation of children. This violation include child poverty violence. You know, lot the key point of children domestic violence or children violence is because of poverty, when they did not have the necessary things. That's why most children are being violated against all forms, discrimination, maybe they were forced to get married to older men. These are all child violation. And I know that if we sufficiently give this education out, we'll find it peaceful. Thank you for viewing.